Hey everyone, welcome back to How to Be a Poser. Today we're going to extract a performance from a figure that's both menacing and regal. To do that, we're going to be using the T'Chaka Sixth Scale figure from Hot Toys. Let's get started. Alright, here he is, King T'Chaka, looking good, still in his box, exactly the way he's going to come to you. Can't wait to see what I can do with this guy, so let's get rolling. Okay, here he is. Now, with this figure, I think that we're going to just focus on several variations on a theme, and I want him to, in pretty much all of them, have his claws out. So the first thing I'm going to want to do, actually, as always, is establish which hands I'm going to use. Now, let's see, just experimenting with the pegs, but they come out okay. Now, this figure comes with two sets of grasping or clutching hands, and one has the claws extended, the other does not. For this first pose, I think I'm going to just use the extended claws because that's just more fun. And get that peg in there. Again, these are pretty stiff. There we go. Got it back in there. Now, when I put it back in, I noticed that the wrist peg was still exposed. So if that happens to you, just make sure that you pull the sleeve back down over the wrist peg so it's concealed from view. That can be unsightly. Nobody likes unsightly things. Otherwise, they wouldn't be called unsightly. Something I just noticed is use caution when putting these hands, these clawed hands, onto the wrist pegs because those clawed hands are really sharp. Yeah, I've got to exert some pressure to get those things on there. And I know you're going to have to as well, so I'll caution you again. Just be careful. Just kind of slowly push them onto there. Don't try to just make them pop on all at once. Just kind of slowly let the peg flow into the wrist. Alright, so this opening pose, as usual, is just going to be a basic introductory pose. But I want him to have at least some degree of menace. We'll get to a more stately, sort of kingly, heroic pose later on down the line. But let's get these feet slightly more than shoulder width apart. Give them just a bit of a bend at the knees. And then compensate at the ankles. There we go. Bring the waist forward. Now, once you have that in a comfortable spot, and I like that, then bend him forward at the waist and then twist him this way. Face that towards you. See where I'm going with that? And the further you go down, the more it looks like he's about to pounce. Now, when you're bringing this arm back, have the claws facing forward in such a way that it looks like he's about to swipe with them. Actually, I'm just going to go all in, like he's just going to spring with both arms right before he's about to do a dive and come at you with both sets of claws. So let's get that bent down, head up. This is really, really astonishingly stable for what it's doing here. I'm really delighted by it. There we go. Get him down nice and low. Get him on the stand. Once you get that done, then just kind of make sure you have a good balance with the arms. See how this one just seems to be just a little bit closer to the body than the other? Maybe bring this one out just a little bit. Back with the arm a little bit. And again, make sure you keep that body lowered. It's got to be leaning forward, leaning into this pounce. And again, just kind of notice the lines that the torso and the legs are creating. You can see that there's a line here, and then when you get up to the torso, that line rotates slightly to the left, and then you keep coming up to the head, and that's an even higher degree to the left, so that it's facing directly to you. As you go down, the body becomes increasingly angled away from you. That's what makes it look good, even in its just basic posture like that. At the very last second, right when I thought that I was done, I just noticed that I forgot to include this high-tech bracelet that all Wakandans use, even back in those early days. So I'm going to lay this guy flat because I've popped the wrist peg off all the way. You're going to slide this guy on first. And you never see T'Chaka without this bracelet. So just go ahead and leave it on. He says as he kicks it off. Just get it on there, get the hand back on. Again, being careful not to pierce your flesh with those razor sharp talons of his. Yeah, there we go. Back on. Make sure everything's exactly the way it used to be. I think that's a little too far out now. Get that head straight. Get him down. Menacing. And there you go. This figure is a memory, a ghost, a vision of a mighty ruler's past, at a time when he unwittingly created a demon to plague his children. There's a lesson in this figure for parents and for people in power. Or it could just look really cool in your display. Your call.